Today we put to rest a 21-year-old internet juggernaut, one that made such hitting series such as Red vs. Blue, The Achievement Hunter, and I guess we'll even throw Ruby in there even though it's kind of become a dumpster fire for pandering. That's right, after 21 years we're saying goodbye to Rooster Teeth. Now, anyone who's followed Rooster Teeth basically since their acquisition into Warner Brothers knew that this was not going to last forever and that the writing was always on the wall for them. Because Warner Brothers has this really nasty habit of taking any IP that doesn't make them any money and just hack and slashing it, burying it 6 feet under, and sending it to the Warner Brothers graveyard, banishing it to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo. They did this with famously the Coyote vs. Acme, where they just try to cut funds wherever they can to try to save any little money that they could possibly lose. And Rooster Teeth was no different. Don't get me wrong, Rooster Teeth truly was a juggernaut when YouTube first started out, but as time went on, the environment completely changed. They weren't the only ones doing what they did, and, well, there were just other people doing it better. People who did animation better than them, did comedy, did gaming content better than they did. But there was a long time where they were the internet gaming juggernauts, and you could see a lot of their editing, comedy, as well as video ideas displayed on many creators' channels to this day. But as time went on, it kind of just lost its flair. Rooster Teeth had had a lot of dips in the roads, and even their analytics show it, where it's kind of like this plateau of views and view time, only to have a huge valley come out of nowhere of lost subscribers. And that's mainly because people going elsewhere to find their content, unless you look at their analytics during the times that they've had controversies. And yeah, like any major corporations, they've had controversies of sexual harassment, sexism, discrimination, and racism that didn't really help their brand. This was just something that was a long time coming because Rooster Teeth really was just floating on the back of content, floating on the sea of content creation. And it doesn't help that during this time, Warner Brothers has already laid off 150 independent workers and content creators from Rooster Teeth as part of the liquidation process, which you can only hope these people do well in the future because this is truly something that can't be easy to live through. But there are things that will stick around in Warner Brothers, at least for the time being. Things like the Roost podcast, which they're going to hold on to until they can find other means of supporting it, probably through like Patreon or GoFundMe, something of that matter. But they're also holding on to things like Red vs. Blue, Ruby, and Genlock, which I'm following the conspiracy bandwagon and saying that they're just going to create movies on these things, take them to 100% completion, and then axe the projects for a tax write-off, which they have done before. They did it with Batwoman, I think, or Batgirl. And they will probably do it again because Warner Brothers is greedy that way. In all honesty, it does hurt me to see that this is what's happening to Rooster Teeth after 21 years of being on the internet, but they truly are just one of those channels that shows old YouTube and old content creation. The heart truly isn't there anymore because there were so many great personalities that were part of Rooster Teeth that either left because they didn't want to do it anymore or left to go and do independent work on their own instead of doing it for Rooster Teeth. But in the end, it doesn't matter because this was an outcome that was unavoidable. Like dodging a million wrenches, it couldn't have been possible for anyone. And it truly is sad, especially with the year that we've had so far of so many YouTubers, Instagrammers, TikTokers, streamers, all saying that they're either going on hiatus or flat out retiring from making content. It's just another blow to the heart for anyone who's an old-time watcher like me. It's like watching Game Theory retire all over again. It truly does hurt me at the end of the day. But hey, I hope that we will still see lots of things that Rooster Teeth has brought forward still hold on, and I hope they don't get rid of the Rooster Teeth channel just for those who want to go back for the sake of nostalgia.